Hello to all my day drinkers out there. I'm MartiniPictures and welcome back to Red Dead Redemption 2. Hopefully, I can get on with the story today. I'm very, very sorry. Alright, first things first, I should probably help out Hosea. Maybe. Just because he's the closest right now. Hi, Hosea.
Hosea?
Hey, Arthur.
Come on! If we're gonna make it to this party, we sure as shit better clean up a little.
So we're doing this?
Oh, yeah. Old friend Dutch Van der Linde's finally showing his true colors. Social climbing.
Old Senor Bronte, that horrendous snake, has invited us to the ball, Cinderella. So my suggestion is we go and get you a gown.
You son of a bitch.
Now, am I actually dressing up as a woman? Or am I just supposed to dress well? Because I think I look fine enough in my attire. I mean, it was $100-something, so it should be good. Oh!
We are ridiculous.
Utterly.
I ain't never been to a ball in my life.
Nor have I, if I am being honest.
I used to quite often. There can be fine pickings.
No pickpocketing. We are here to make real contact.
What kind of contact?
Well, I don't know. We'll find what we can. All I know for sure is we are going to a party at the mayor's house, and the guest of honor is the worst crook in town. I'm sure that we will find something.
Okay.
Gentlemen, Luca, I'm afraid the mayor does not allow guns at official functions after last year's incident.
Wonder what could have happened last year, yikes.
Luca here will take you to Mr. Bronte. I believe he is expecting you.
Follow me, gentlemen.
For a second there, I thought Arthur was gonna do it too, just being like,
So pleased that you made
yeah.
We are honored to be here.
That's wonderful, wonderful. Come, this way. What a beautiful evening it shall be. Mr. Bronte is a very good friends with the mayor. Good evening, Pierre. Senor Napoli? As long as the mayor behaves himself, you know. Mr. Bronte, he has that thing, you know.
I don't know why the character keeps fading off to the right.
You join the party. We'll meet you out back after we pay our respects to Senor Bronte.
Come.
We'll meet you out in the balcony when you're done.
Alright. So why exactly us two? I mean, well, I guess it makes sense because we were the ones that met him in the first place.
The angry cowboys, you arrived. And you've washed per la prima volta questo mese, senza dubbio.
This is quite a party you've invited us to.
Yes, quite something. Although I'm not quite sure what.
So, this is Saint Denis High Society.
Yes, apparently so.
And all these people, these are friends of yours, Senor Bronte?
No, not quite, not quite. But they certainly are afraid of me. Like that one. See that wretch? He's the mayor. Henri Lemieux. He'll do anything for $1, and I mean anything.
Politics is a foul business.
Yes. Oh, and that one too. That is Alberto Fusar. He owns a sugar plantation out on the island, and he comes here to whore and despoil himself. Oh, and that is Hobart Crawley, a Confederate major in the war. I mean, hero, they say, but that is his very young wife. I mean, a young mistress, that's the natural order of things, yes, but a young wife is unseemly. Oh, the Redskins. I have no sympathy for them, because whoever is stupid enough to get tricked by the Americans, no, they get what they deserve, huh? Yes, and a letter to the mayor. Oh, yeah, that'll save you.
Even Dutch doesn't like this.
And that is Hector Fellows. This self-righteous newspaper man. Maybe you will kill him for me one day.
Well, We're not paid killers as such, not in cold blood anyway.
I did not know you were so particular that you wouldn't help a friend.
Oh, I'm willing to help in any way I can, within reason.
I'm going to pretend to understand what that means.
I meant no offense, sir.
None taken. None taken! All these vulgar people, they hate me. Non vedo l'ora di guardarti morire.
Well, it has been wonderful conversing with you, but I can tell that you are very busy, and I won't waste any more of your time.
Yes, yes, yes. Go, enjoy yourselves and mingle with this vulgar scum. It'll make you long for the days when you could shoot each other and screw cows out on the open range.
Those sure were the days. Good day, gentlemen.
Good day to you. But before you go, what exactly are your plans here?
Well, we've not made any... Well, we are going to need some money.
Money, yes, of course. But there's money at the trolley station. They keep a lot of cash there in the day. Now, I could not involve myself in such matters. But you, as a guest, yes, as my guest, bah, do it, huh? Okay, good day, gentlemen.
Goodbye.
Ok, ragazzi, adesso il vino buono.
I'll show you to the party, gentlemen, if you'll kindly follow me.
Okay, so that was it's kind of a show of character for both of us. I already knew that Arthur wasn't going to take kindly to it, but showing how much it bothered Dutch as well shows that even though that Dutch is starting to act kind of odd back at camp, it does show that he still is like sane enough to know like the evils of people.
Okay. Go find the mayor if you can and stay out of trouble and steal nothing unless it's information. Of course. Jose, you go find us someplace to rob. Bill, go make us some new friends. I'm gonna find out if old Cornwall and what's his name, Milton, knows we're here. Gentlemen, be well.
Will do, Dutch. Let's see. So how exactly does one mingle with guests like these? Ooh, yes, please.
Get me a bloody drink, will you? A small one. Just big enough.
Well, hello.
Thank you.
Gentlemen. Featherstone Chambers. Please meet you.
He sips it so daintily.
What a beautiful evening. Sure.
Can I interact with?
Since the war, the country's doomed itself. I disagree.
Hmm?
The war was 30 years ago. I was just a boy. And since then we have fought more wars. And we will fight more again.
Now, the country tore itself apart.
The country don't even exist. We exist. And my family? Well, they did well out of the war.
It didn't work out so
My
good.
family lost a generation.
I should not have got up this morning. I need to go and sit down and have a little rest. I'm just gonna...
Don't be like that, Nana.
Is anybody listening to me?
I will.
People use to get others to fight for them.
I do believe this, sir.
I know I look like a drunken harlot, but let me be very clear, young man.
Okay.
I am a drunken harlot.
Good for you. You know exactly what you want. I think he was a little bit farther up.
Outrageous. These damsels. Well, if that's French culture for you.
Gentlemen, I hope you're having a fine evening.
Oh,
Mayor, wonderful to see you again.
This intellectual here was just insulting me regarding the Redskins.
I did no such thing.
can I join in on the conversation?
I suggested that all of us as Americans had a duty to take care of people living in this land. And that extends to Saint Denis.
It ain't complex, and only an idiot like you, buddy, would try to make it so. I will not deny idiocy, sir, but perhaps now is not the time.
Typical pansy.
You are drunk, Ferdinand.
I'm not drunk, you fool. But this man loves darkies.
Hey, you are pretty drunk. Yeah, hey, what say you and me cool off?
Hello?
Oh. Oh. Oh, Jesus. I'm trying to direct it straight and it keeps leading off in one direction or another. Alright, perfect.
Sit down and calm down. Count to 1,000. Then you can rejoin the party.
I have a feeling I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm gonna try and clear out the rest of them.
My pleasure.
Henri Lemieux. I hope you're enjoying my party.
The mayor.
Allegedly.
There's quite a place you got here.
It's not mine, and the city is horribly in debt, but we can still put on a good show. Do you know Evelyn Miller?
My lord. Ryder?
Well, we seem to have another deranged drunkard on our hands.
Shall we?
Huh.
My lord, they're fantastic.
Wonder if Arthur's ever seen fireworks before.
Excuse me, brother. Excuse me, brother. Monsieur, please. Mr. Cornwall was quite insistent, I'm afraid. He shouted down the telephone for several minutes.
Mr. Cornwall is a horse's ass, and a bad horse.
I'm very sorry, sir.
It's not your fault. I'm a fool for trusting him. I'll come in silent in a minute. Let me enjoy the fireworks.
Of course.
Did he say something about Cornwall? Yes. Find out what. Sure.
Ooh, perfect. I just gotta follow him and see what's going on. The servant will notice you if you get too close, obviously. You just have to take it at the same pace that he is. Oh, eavesdrop.
Everything's fine. We have the place well secured.
Good. Mr. Bronte has a habit of wandering about and reading whatever he likes.
We're watching him and his men like hawks.
Thank you, Mr. Turner.
Hmm. Now he's going in. Oh shit.
Is everything taken care of? The telephone, it keeps ringing.
The mayor said he will sign later.
Okay, now he's going that way. I don't wanna.
Marie! Marie! Find that little reprobate chip and beat him. I will not have standard slip in this house.
Okay, good. I turned around. Good.
Have you lost your mind? I said, have you lost your mind?
I really wish the camera angle would stop moving on its own.
Look at me.
I'm gonna go here.
At me. Who do you think you are?
Oh, what the hell?
This area is not meant for the likes of you. You know this. Standards in this house are slipping. This is a final warning to you, miss. A final warning. Now get out of my sight.
Now he's going up the stairs. Now he's going in the room. He's opening up the desk, and he's placed something inside. Okay. I think he locked it up. Not entirely sure. Now he's fully gone. Alright. Shit. Oh. I guess that works.
Mr. Leviticus Cornwall. Top secret. Extremely confidential. Very interesting.
Okay, return to Dutch at the gala. I can just go down this way, right? Or should I go back and explore upstairs at all? Or is that a bad idea? I mean, I know he went into that other room, but... oh well.
Find anything? I think so.
Nothing. This town is a waste of time.
Maybe not.
I think...
Gentlemen, I think we're done here.
What did you find out?
There's plenty of money moves through here, of course, and I think I found out how we can grab some of it.
Ooh.
Bank. Real one, I mean. But not yet.
A city bank?
Maybe. And a stuffed one. If we're gonna leave, that could be the one thing we need.
There's also that trolley car station Senor Bronte told us about, and I heard about a high-stakes poker game. Come on.
I'm pretty good at poker in this game. I can probably win us some money.
Here comes Lenny. All right. Let's get in. Go home.
I ain't never felt so awkward in all my life. All them folk all so pleased with themselves. Oh, high society's pigeon shit. If you ask me, it's more like torture.
Well, that's sort of the point, isn't it? Let the people torture themselves.
Here's them papers I took.
Anybody see you take this?
I don't think so.
I might have an idea. Let me think on it.
Dutch has a lot of ideas. I don't know if they work all the time.
Interesting times.
I guess. So what's next? Dancing lessons? Deportment?
More along the lines of armed robbery. Hosea is handling reconnaissance on the bank. He and Abigail are gonna run some distractions, see how the law reacts.
Good.
Oh, and I spoke to Evelyn Miller. Fine man. Here helping the Indian chief we saw.
Yeah, I met him too, with the mayor.
He's lobbying officials in Saint Denis on their behalf. Maybe we could help.
Maybe.
Now, I think there's a lot of money on the riverboat. A lot of money. And Trelawney, he's investigating for us. He says to meet him at the Taylors.
Okay.
One big score down here, Arthur, and we disappear. We are almost heading home.
Where is home?
I don't know. Exactly. But I can smell it. I'm gonna go investigate this trolley thing old Bronte was talking about.
Okay.
Nice. Looks like everything's set up to go on. Now what could I have done better? God damn it. That thing is still glitched out for some odd reason. While at the party, pour some drinks, compliment a guest's attire, accept a gift, and save a life. Holy shit. I never even got like a single prompt to do anything, like hold L2. Like I did that on my own just to stare at that one woman while she was talking about being a drunken harlot. Nothing else really happened. Pour some drinks, compliment a guest's attire, and accept a gift and save a life. What the hell happens at that party? I definitely need to go back and play this game on my own and just like explore everything else that I've possibly missed in this playthrough. But holy hell.
Mr. Morgan. Mr. Morgan.
Yes.
Reverend?
I've been wanting to ask you something. I've been wanting to for days.
Okay. What is it?
I can't remember. Oh, this frightful curse. I've ruined my life with it.
Then stop doing it.
Oh, no, sir. I can't do that. Really. I can't.
That's just quitters talk.
Hello, Mary Beth.
Oh, how are you, Arthur?
Fine. How are you?
Well, I'm well, I think. It's been quite a run we've had, but we're still alive.
So, no regrets?
Regrets for what?
Oh, for joining this band of maniacs.
If you're a girl without means in this world, life is very scary. You boys cared for me before no one cared for me. Well, life weren't very nice, Arthur. Not after Mama got typhoid, and that was a long time ago.
Sure.
What about you? I heard you ran into that Mary girl.
Yep.
And?
Got me thinking how that all ended. Long time ago now.
What happened?
Well, she didn't love me enough, I guess. Or I wouldn't change.
Huh. Well, she was a fool then, Arthur.
Well, she put a lot of good years in on an outlaw. She definitely was a fool.
In these books, life seems so simple, but in reality, I can't make head nor tail of it.
Mr. Morgan! Mr. Morgan, we have a problem. A real problem. It's Tilly.
What?
She's been taken by them Foreman brothers she used to run with. Come along!
The Foreman brothers? What are they doing here?
Well, I don't know what they've been doing here, but I can tell you what they're going to be doing here. Dying.
Sure. Do we need more guns?
You and I can handle this, Arthur.
Where are we heading?
I'll tell you on the way. Just get going. All right, head for Rose. And quick.
She's in the roads?
No. She's at a place called Radley's house, just west of there.
How do you know?
When we first got here, she told me she was worried that our camp was near a safe house that gang she ran with used from time to time.
And you told Dutch?
No. She spoke to me in confidence. I suppose I didn't think it would be a problem.
And now it is.
Oh, yes.
What do they want with her anyway? I think I saw one of the foremans hassling her and Valentine.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Followed us down here. You don't know what happened? She killed one of them for good reason, but clearly they don't see it that way.
Tilly?
Yes. Young Tilly Jackson isn't as sweet and innocent as you might think. But like I say, she was defending herself. She fled and fell in with us right after that. I just hope we can get to her in time.
It's not too far.
What the fuck?
If they've touched a single hair on that girl's head, I will eviscerate the sons of bitches.
See? You do care, Miss Grimshaw.
Of course I care. About all of you fools. Some just require a firmer hand than others. You especially.
Thank you.
I swear half of you would just rot in your own filth if nobody kept you in check. Anyway, talking of folks disappearing, have you seen that boy Kieran since the party for Jack? Okay, I think that's the place up ahead.
Wait, what happened to Kieran? Where did Kieran go?
I think there's a guard.
I'll deal with him.
How can you just stop talking? What happened to Kieran?
Kind sir, we're lost and in need of some help.
Get out of here.
Oh, I see that kindly face of yours, and I know that for the right inducement, a gentleman such as yourself could be mighty kind.
Now get out of here.
Oh, now you keep saying that. But you don't mean nothing by
I
it.
said.
You said your last words. Well, what are you waiting for? Get in there and find our girl.
Never mess with a mother. never mess with a child who has a mother. Kick. Yeet.
What the hell you think you're doing?
Ow. Bitch. Let's see. This one. Come on. Why the fuck is it? It was locking onto Tilly, and I didn't realize that. There you go, Tilly.
Okay, Miss Tilly. Now, let's get you out of here.
I kept trying to aim the gun, and it just kept going on Tilly.
Yeah, it don't matter what you thought. It's okay. All right, let's go.
Oh, come along, miss. Thank you, both of you.
What happened?
It was Anthony Foreman. He thinks he owns me.
I remember. Where is he?
He went out hunting or something. There were 5 of them, I think.
Well, we killed those fellas there.
There they are.
Come on.
Tilly, grab that gun. Anyone approaches, shoot them.
Oh, don't worry. I'll be just fine. Now catch that bastard. The one in front of the boat. Bring him back alive. I ain't done with him yet.
Oh, yes.
Get after them.
Alright, I saw a little bit.
I saw him go through those bushes. Oh, you're gonna pay.
Woo!
All of you. You got it. They're heading down the hill to the water.
Okay, that's not a riding horse. Fuck, that's an open horse.
Oh, there they are by the shoreline.
Oh, I see him. What? Goddamn stupid horse.
We're coming for you, you bastards.
Got that one.
All right. I think that last one's the boss. Lasso him and we'll take him back to Tilly. Rope that bastard. Don't kill him yet. I want Tilly to have the last word on this bastard.
No worries.
Come on. Get him, Arthur.
I'm not close enough yet.
Don't let him get away. That's it. Now make sure you tie him up real good.
Oh, shit.
Come here.
No, he's making a run for it.
I got him. Because for some odd reason, the rope doesn't work in this game. And the horse kept running when I didn't want it to.
You bring that bastard back to Tilly so we can all have a nice little chat. I'm gonna head over there now to check she's okay.
With pleasure.
She took his horse. Really?
That bitch owes me. All right. Do you have the first idea what you're getting into? I'm Anthony Foreman.
Well, thanks for the introduction, Anthony. Is that Foreman with an E? I want the Undertaker to spell it right.
Funny bastard. Who are you running with?
She didn't tell you?
She didn't tell me nothing. This rope is cutting into me.
Don't feel so good when you're the one tied up, does it?
She killed my goddamn cousin.
Oh, don't worry. You'll be seeing him soon enough.
What are you gonna do with me? What?
I ain't sure yet. Reckon I'll let Tilly decide what you deserve.
You're wasting your time with that girl. She's a liar. She'll screw you over like she did me.
All right. Here's your man.
Bring him here. Dump him on the ground here.
Okay.
I want to get a good look at this monster.
So, what exactly are we gonna end up doing with this guy? I know Tilly wants to kill him herself, but how are we doing it?
So he's still alive then?
Yes.
You see this girl? You leave her alone.
She killed my cousin.
Your goddamn cousin had it coming, Anthony Foreman.
I don't care if she shot your daddy and cooked your mama for breakfast. She's mine. She ate yours.
You know, a friend of mine, he always says, revenge is a fool's game. Now, you want all your boys dead? She had her reasons.
We was family, Tilly Jackson.
You Foreman boys ain't no kind of family I want.
Kill him, Arthur.
You want that?
I want him to go away and tell the remaining of his cousins and the clowns he rides with to leave me alone.
Now, you think you can do that, Anthony? Or should I slit your throat and just save us all the bother?
I'll leave you alone. History is done.
History is never done. It's your call, Arthur. But I'd slit his throat.
Go on.
Finish the bastard.
All right, you.
Let's get you home.
It's Tilly's problem. It's what Tilly wanted.
Get out of here.
Quick question. How did, Pepperjack get all the way back here to Shady Belle? Pepperjack has all of my guns, and I kind of need them to do, you know, my job. Your bonus bank robbery mission is available at a bank? What? Oh. I can, do a bank robbery with Charles, or maybe I can do a coach robbery with, Lenny. Both sound not good, but could bring in some major cash for us. But that's not exactly what I want to do right now. What I do want, what the fuck? What the? What the shit? That's not supposed to happen. I think I'll save those for the next episode, but something that I've been neglecting but is like really good for the story that I haven't like done at all is read Arthur's journal / diary or whatever, and I feel as if like I should go back and read it because there's a lot actually in there, and I was just trying to bring it up to the most current page, which is this one, which if you recognize, that's the artist as he's dressed up as a woman. However, I was going through it and I was just reading just randomly like one word at a time. There was something that piqued my interest about one specific character that's in the camp, and it blew my mind that like it's never mentioned out loud, but it's going on the inside that you don't even know if you don't read this. And I want to go back and I want to read everything. I know this might not interest anyone, but it might interest some, and that's what I'm out for right now, is if it interests some. Because if it piqued my interest even the tiniest little bit, hopefully it'll be able to help anyone, not help, just interest anyone. Okay. So first off, the first page is just the gang's savings and everything. And then the second page involves a full-scale drawing of what Blackwater's community looks like. There was the community bank, I think that was the sheriff's office in the first game. Then the town square, and then two paths. The most northern path on the left led up to the church and cemetery, if I remember correctly. And then just water on the right. And then, if you think about it, I believe the map ends there. Like, there's no way for it to extend northeast from the first game, I don't think. And that's where this game all takes place. Or is it north? I forget which. I would have to like go back into the other game, and I don't mind doing it, but I don't see the need for it right now. Also, I just noticed that we have $14,000 for the whole robbery that's in our savings, so I think that's pretty good. What's this a drawing of? I think this is a drawing of their place in Blackwater, maybe overlooking the town hall, maybe. All right, I bought this new journal after the last one got destroyed in that fire all those months ago, whenever it was. Haven't written or drawn much in the past few months. That's another thing. As I was going through, I noticed like how everything is drawn extremely well. And it made my mind think, how do you make something look like graphite drew a picture? Like we saw like the risque photo from the artist before, and that looked hand drawn, but these are good pieces, and it's all in pencil that he's writing, and it's so good. Obviously, someone had to like do it themselves and like draw it, and they put it in the game. But how do you do that? Is it a file that you make, and you just like use like a stylus on one of those pads and just draw it out, and then it just becomes its file, and you put it in the game, and it's just on the page? It's so cool. Haven't written or drawn much in the past few months, but I was missing it more than I thought I would. And finally near a store, I might have to read this. And finally near a store, so here I am, I guess. After all that business up north and the fire, we spent a few months in the wilderness, traveling down from the northern grizzlies. Huh. Stuck mostly in the western foothills of the mountains during the worst of the winter. Food was easy to find and life was good. Dutch had a lead for some land and we were going to buy, but the land did not match up to his criteria, or he got spooked. We were being watched by the law and that somebody knew who he was. We never bought it and we are wandering still. Okay. His English is kind of broken, like it's kind of written with a run-on sentence. I mean, it makes sense because he's not exactly like the most well-taught, and it was Dutch who taught them, right? I mean, it's not like he's a proper teacher, so it makes sense. We picked up a couple of new folk in the Grizzlies. New people, okay. Jenny, a sweet young girl we met abandoned on the roadside, and Micah, an outlaw Dutch met in a bar somewhere. Okay. The R I know is cursive, and it looked like an N for a second. Someplace. Dutch seems way taken with Micah, who is pretty hot-headed, argumentative, and full of himself. Hosea and I are less sure. Guess we shall see. Eventually, we came out of the wilderness and are now holed up outside of Blackwater, although sometimes I stay in town hunting for opportunities. Yeah, that's definitely the main building. I might be onto something. We got plenty of money, and the trail we took was so torturous and slow nobody could have followed us south and east or figured out where we were heading. We was thinking about California, but then Dutch and Hosea brought us down to Blackwater. Huh. Oh, and that's everything being built. It does make sense. Everything was finished, right? In Blackwater? In the first game? I think. Blackwater has apparently grown a whole lot since any of them was last here. I was told to expect a little more than a trading post, but the place is growing fast, and it's almost a city. It's almost a small city. The town seems to be riddled with corruption, but there's certainly plenty of money here. It's good to be sleeping in a bed from time to time and living a more civilized life after so long under canvas, but I do not particularly like being this near a town. We are living here, camping outside town, mostly hidden in plain sight, I guess. Life seems pretty easy. Abigail and Marston keep arguing. I wonder why exactly he came back. He cannot seem to decide if he wants to be a father to that boy of his or not. The arguing is exhausting. I heard talk if a man sounded like Trelawney. What? No, that's not an I, god damn it. I heard talk of a man sounded like Trelawney, but we haven't seen him for many months. Hosea and I are on to something pretty big. Might be a lot of cash coming in to do with a real estate scam Hosea thinks he might have discovered. I'm not sure yet. The perfect crime, we think. One where we rob crooks. Okay. We are being real careful. It's fun. That's, I think, working. Yeah, it's working. It's fun working with Hosea again. The man is an artist of nonsense. Even if nothing comes of it, we're having an amusing enough time. It's good to be running scams again. Hosea is a born huckster. Okay. He is getting anxious, worried that by lingering in town we are going to bring undue attention on ourselves, but Dutch thinks he is also onto something big. His word, not mine, bank money being brought in by boat apparently. So for now we are working on both things and seeing what happens. Plan is to flee west into the desert country, someplace if we can. Micah and Dutch are planning to rob the ferry in town. They think it's laden with riches, cash coming in for the banks, coming in by boat. For once, I am not getting involved in the job. Hosea and I are taken up with our business, which I believe could go very well, and Dutch seems confident that with the group assembled, all will be okay. Plan is for them to carry out the job, then flee into the wilderness out to the west. The next day, Hosea and I carry out our scam and join them. Dutch seems happy and excited. He's talking again about California, but he's also talking about a lot of other places. Huh. So, this is the Blackwater Saloon. Is it finally built? Like it's finished? Horse. Is this when his horse passed away? And this is where the shit goes wrong. I wonder why he drew the same picture again. We've been running for weeks. I mean, running more than usual. The job they was pulling in Blackwater, robbing that ferry, it turned into a disaster. Young Jenny got billed, poor thing. While Sean and Mac both got arrested or killed. Nobody seems sure which. Okay, so we know that... Who was Mac? I forget who Mac is, I'm sorry. Sean, though, he was arrested and then got away? I don't remember how he came back into the group. I'm sorry. There's little facts that I don't quite remember, but I'll probably read later in this exact journal. But now Sean is gone, and I don't know what happened to Mac. Dutch shot a girl. I am not too sure if by accident or design, and seems like it might have been a setup. So it was set up for Dutch to shoot her, or Dutch wanted to shoot her. I don't know, but that's the girl that is the main feud between Colm O'Driscoll. Oh wait, he was getting revenge for Colm killing his brother? I don't remember. There's little facts that like probably set up bigger events, but it's just like little things like sister or brother or Dutch's brother or Colm O'Driscoll's brother is just stuff that just gets talked about once and then you try and play the rest of the game that I kind of miss. We took to the hills in an almighty scramble, leaving money and most of our things behind. Davy. Huh. So they finally lost one. Then, as we were fleeing east over the Grizzlies, an almighty storm hit us. Oh, yeah. So, that was the first accounted for death. That's the only death that they really knew. And that was, the one that we saw at the very beginning. Davy Callender, who got shot in the gut on the raid, passed away. Oh, no, this is a different one. It was brutal to watch, and the rest of us nearly froze. But we found shelter and have been resting here in some old abandoned mining town while we await the thaw. Camp Coulter. That's where we were set up before. Excuse me. So I was right. That is the one that we saw pass away. So the reason he died was a mixture of being shot and it being too cold for them to care for him. But mostly the gunshot wound. Okay, and then a train. Hardly the spring I had been hoping for. Hosea and I had been planning a robbery of our own in Blackwater, but I guess it's been abandoned along with most of what I owned. I am profoundly concerned as to what happens next. Once we leave this place, or the law finds us cowering up here. Found a girl, well, a woman, I should say. Her husband had been murdered by some of Como Driscoll's boys. Nasty business. Riding out. So cute that he does stuff like this. Just like the little things. Not just like the design of towns or like something that he saw in the wilderness or like a person, though those are pretty good, the drawings of people. Stuff like this, just like his own description of stuff. Like it doesn't have to be through words, but the way that they planned this out is so cool. Okay, something about a ridge. Leviticus Cornwall? Oh, yeah, now I got it. It's when we found their setup. Seems Como Driscoll had the same idea as us. He's been hiding up here, scouting out a train he wanted to rob. We bumped into some of his boys at some farmstead they was robbing. Found that poor woman whose husband they had murdered, and she's now riding with us, as she ain't got no place better to be. Then, Dutch being Dutch, and his hatred for Colm being just as powerful as ever it was, a whole bunch of us... Oh, he scribbled out a word. A whole bunch of us went to pay him a visit in his camp, but he escaped. Leviticus Cornwall. Okay, and how did we learn about Leviticus Cornwall? So Como Driscoll was kind of the main issue. The whole reason the Blackwater thing went to shit is because Dutch had a mishap on the boat, killed the girl that was important to Como Driscoll, and then somewhere along the way we found out about Leviticus Cornwall and the train that he was going to rob, but we did it. No, we took out his group. No. Okay, now I think I remember. So it was Como Driscoll that was there, and it was their plan to rob Leviticus Cornwall's train, I think. We grabbed one of his boys. Poor bastard ain't spoken yet, but he will once we freeze him a little, then set Bill on him. Ugh. Yeah, I know what Bill does. Been a bad few weeks, but we're mostly still alive. Dutch being Dutch, he's busy making plans and figuring out just how we're going to survive. And Dutch being Dutch, those plans involve robbery and dreams. I know I'm reading like a 2-year-old reads like a Dr. Seuss book, but trying to read the cursive throws me for a loop. Deer. Oh wait, that first horse? No, that was still before Blackwater, I think. So this deer must be when I went out with Charles hunting, probably. And then we left the first place and went to Horseshoe Overlook. Huh. His view from his bed. Chopping wood. Finally a thaw in this, what is that word? What the hell? God, really? Huh. In this god-awful weather. We got off the mountain I don't know what he struggled with there. We got off the mountain and rode east into some pretty enough country called the Heartlands. East? Ain't been this far east in many a year. Hosea seems to know the country a little. Ain't been much of a spring. Now holed up at a place called Horseshoe Overlook outside of some Dumpy little cattle town, name of Valentine. Okay. Oh, and this is Pepperjack, right? Dutch seems a little better. His eyes are sparkling once more, and I can see he's thinking a little clearer. I think we all feel a little happier, in spite of Blackwater and that whole mess. That's Uncle and the girls. Oh wait, no, I didn't get Pepperjack yet. That was the new horse? That was the very first horse I ever had, I think. I don't know. That's the Uncle and the girls. Headed into Valentine with Uncle and the girls. Girls went scouting out work, while Uncle and I had a few drinks, and he explained more of his theories on existence and barefaced lies about his past. Okay. I went back to read Bear because it didn't look right to me. Things took a strange turn. Some fella seemed to recognize me, or us, from Blackwater. Guess we had been holed up there for far too long while Hosea and I scouted the job that never was. I chased the bastard, and he nearly fell off a cliff. I spared him, and he gave me an ink pen. I hope I won't regret my leniency, but I reckon he got the scare of his life. Jimmy Brooks was his name. What? Why is it so detailed of the church? And then it's something light on the next page. Weird. Net? Oh, met some old drunk in Valentine. Claimed he was a shootist. Seemed more like a clown. Some poor fool was, writing a book about him. Or trying to. Levin was the name of the writer. Jim Calloway was the killer. Apparently Levin needs more information. Asked me to find a few folk who have spent more time in publicity than me, and knew old Jim back when he was a real killer. Jesus, it is. I know I could go into the text and read it, but it just seems cheap. I'm only doing it for words that I really can't tell. Their names are Emmett Granger, Flaco Hernandez, Billy Midnight, and Black Bell. That was Jim Boy Calloway. Sound like a troop of clowns. We shall see what kinds of people those who want to be famous murderers is. My hopes are not too high. Horse, rabbit. Don't know who that guy is supposed to be. Took a day off and went off hunting with Hosea. Oh. That's Hosea. Huh. Oh, duh, the H. Yeah, down at the bottom. That would make sense. He really seems to be getting his strength back a bunch. Although he was lucky not to die as this big war he'd been after turned on us. What? Oh, Bear. Bear. I was like, when is the bear coming in? Turns out war, what I thought was war, is actually the bear. I thought when we was stuck up in the mountains that the cold and the misery would kill him, and we'd bury him like we buried Jenny T. Oh, and Jenny, rest her soul, and Davy, rest his soul. Huh. But he pulled through, and he'll live a while yet. I love Dutch like a father, but in many ways I love Hosea even more. He's kind and fair and like a human being. Dutch is something else. His bear was also something else. Eyes. Oh, size of a goddamn hotel it was. And mean with it. Met a strange guy. Thought he was a prophet. Blind. That was the guy on the road that I gave like a couple cents to, or maybe $1. This is Leopold Strauss. Herr Strauss is back lending money, and I'm back collecting it. The work mostly revolts me and shames me. Somehow robbing people honestly with a gun and fists is less repellent than robbing them fully in accordance with the law. It'll be the usual sort of desperados, sick farmer, pregnant maids, lovesick young men, and other dupes desperate enough and stupid enough to take Strauss's terms. I can't tell what that is. Oh. A usurer's life may be a comfortable one, but it is foul work. SC? Oh, $, I think. Indian tobacco. That was when I met that random stranger and he told me about it. This is a double-barrel shotgun, right? Colm O'Driscoll slipped through our fingers once more, and I saw my own life slip through mine. That gentle buffoon we kidnapped up in the mountains took us to a cabin. We were planning to kill Colm, but he had just gone elsewhere. We shot a bunch of his boys, and one was about to end my life when Kieran shot him. This feud. It's bled out from Dutch and Colm's mutual hatred into a loathing that permeates all of us and all of them. Still, I found quite a shotgun in the cabin. This is the lady with the dinosaur bone. Met a lady scientist, Deborah something or other. Seemed. Jesus. Those E's always look like U's to me. Seemed to be more mad than sane, but I don't have much fame or reference for scientists. Is that fame? Frame? I don't know. Frame or reference? I don't know. Wanted me to see if I could help her find dinosaur bones and send her the details. Maybe. This is one of the killers, right? Met Emmett Granger. Excuse me. I cannot think of a single man I have enjoyed seeing dead more than this bastard. Pig shit and hatred, and he still threw a knife at me. And then Valentine. I wonder why he drew it there. I mean, I've been in Valentine for a while. Went off drinking with young Lenny, thanks to my own peculiar... peculiar genius. Jesus. For trouble when drunk, the evening did not go quite according to plan, but somehow neither of us got killed or arrested for murder. If I had killed the guy that I was waterboarding, or just drowning, not waterboarding, would Lenny have been arrested? Actually, would the whole arrest be like a thing? I don't know. Despite my best efforts in that regard, somehow I don't imagine that the saloon's owner in Valentine likes me. Very much after the mayhem, likes me very much after the mayhem I have caused there. Twice now. Smith? Smithfield's Saloon. Someone smoking a cigarette. Oh, is this the cigarette smoker card guy? This fella I took to talking with at the train station, told me that I could get decent money if I collected complete sets of cigarette cards and sent them to him. We shall see. Sounds harmless enough. Dog. Is that when the dog came to the camp? Or no. The dog came when we were at the technically third camp in the game. This right now is the fourth. Picked up some raspberries. Met an idiot hunting for treasure. Bought a map off of him. Wonder if I'll find anything. I would like to go back and do that. I just don't know where a starting point is. Like, that's the issue with, like, all these maps. Is not, like, trying to find the treasure. It's trying to find the first point to follow the map. Creeping time. More plants. Killed a turkey. Cooking pot? I went to call in alone. Some farmer local to Gordon. Think I'd seen him in Valentine before when I was fighting that big fella. He begged and coughed and spluttered, and I beat him half to death. Oh, this all involves Strauss, I guess. Such is life, such is the world. His boy looked at me like I was the devil, and perhaps for him I was. Oh yeah, now I know what they're talking about. The whole thing confused me. Maybe that's wrong. The whole thing revolted me. My part. These sad, desperate bastards, their silly expectations of life, and their tawdry reality, the unkindness, the unkidness of existence. Huh. I've never seen that word, unkidness. Oh well. I can handle that just fine. But I do not love it, nor those who try to make things otherwise, I guess. Found Flaco Hernandez for that silly book. Killed him. Bastard jumped out of the way, but I still got him. Didn't seem like the type I was going to befriend anyway. What's this? Jose and I went robbing, just like in the old days. A father and son pair of clowns at some farmhouse. Stole a wagon, sold it to some rat Hosea had met at some odd place called Emerald Ranch. What goes on there? I cannot tell, but this little purchase of stolen goods had us go rob his own family. Even by my standards, I was low. But the father and son we robbed was proof that even God makes mistakes sometimes. Okay, I'm gonna leave it on this page real quick, and I'm gonna get to some light because I cannot see anymore. Alright, found a new place to read. Hosea performed brilliantly as some kind of Blackwater selling restorative. I don't know. Care to crooks' backs. I don't know. Whole thing was utterly ridiculous and brilliant. Oh, oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. Hosea was basically making himself seem like he was a masseuse. Didn't remember that. Okay, maybe reading by candlelight wasn't a good idea because the words seem to disappear on the page. I'll just read it like this. Saw Mary again. I feel like the luckiest man alive, and I feel like a fool. That woman confuses me and plays me for a fiddle like no one else alive. Her little brother Jamie has joined some religious order and needed saving. Or so she and that god-awful daddy seem to have thought. I took him home after a pathetic little squabble. Poor boy. Wonder what will become of him. Education and an unpleasant father have been a terrible curse for him, I fear. As for Mary, I trust I will not make a god-awful fool of myself once more, but somehow I imagine I shall. And then he writes down their initials, A and M. Huh. Hopeless romantic. Guess Billy Midnight has never escaped his past. Guy was deranged about shooting some fella in the back or in their sleep or something else. Was God damn it. Guy was deranged about shooting some fella in the back or in their sleep or something else very sensible, in my opinion. Anyway, guilt had consumed him, so like a proper gentleman, like a real proper gentleman, he tried to kill me. And then Black Bill. What a woman. If she was younger and I was in the market for a woman to go killing with, what a pair we could have made. She told me old boy Calloway was a poseur and a liar. I think. Don't hold me into... Don't hold that over me. I think it's poseur. I'm not sure. Big surprise. Met a nice fella taking photos of animals. Albert Mason, I think he was called. Kind and interesting and entirely lost and unused to real country. Huh. I've never thought about that. I've always used the word, like, yeah, you're used to it. I've never thought about how you spell that, and I don't know why. That's odd to me that I've never, like, paid attention to that. Kind of interesting and entirely lost and unused to real country, even though he seemed to love it. Trying to take pictures of all our biggest predators before they all got killed off themselves by the modern world. Should have got him to take a picture of Dutch. He got robbed by a coyote, but I got him his bait back. And a little bird. Must have been one I probably ran over with my horse, because I doubt that I shot it in the sky. And then across with a circle. Got into some god-awful fight in the town saloon. Bill started it. He's wound so tight about something, I reckon he'll start hitting himself soon enough. I was stopped from beating some big yokel to death by a local do-gooder. Oh, it's that guy, okay. I cannot tell if this made me pleased or real angry. The local crowd seemed to want to see blood, however. Afterwards, Dutch accosted me with old Josiah Trelawney, back and quite as slippery and confusing as ever. He'll come and go again, no doubt, and leaves none of us any the wiser as to who or what he is. Trelawney told us that Sean had not been killed in Blackwater, but was a prisoner there, held by scalp hunters awaiting payment. Charles Smith, Javier, and I in Blackwater. Wait, hold on. Charles Smith, Javier, and I met in Blackwater and rescued that loudmouth maniac. Before we even cut him free from the tree he was mouthing off at us. Wait, did we really go to Blackwater? I don't remember going there. Why? Why don't I remember going to Blackwater? Javier said Blackwater is an impossible situation, and I guess I had better forget about all that money. Yeah. Okay, buffalo or bison? I think there's a difference. I don't quite remember. Then what's this drawing? I don't know. All them years wasted earning that stuff. Guess I'll never quite know what happened, but the upshot is we're on the run and known to more folks in authority than we would like. So is that where he was being held? I think, maybe? I don't know. Another bird. Found an odd-looking corpse. Something stuffed into the mouth. Couldn't make sense of it. Yeah, it's about some, not gang, but, like, some, like, cultist murder, some serial killer that's making, like, art with the bodies and stuff. Took young Jack out fishing as a favor to Abigail many years ago before she fell so hard for that fool Marston. Perhaps I should have married her. I think part of me has always thought that, yet... God damn you, Mary. This is the part that I just happened to gloss over while I was reading, like, just these pages, and it made me want to go back and read this. That blew my mind when I first read it. Jack is a good boy. A dreamer. A boy with a mama who loves him. I wonder if he will find what we seek. Peace and truth away from all this nonsense and lies. If that is what we still seek. Not that that's a new development. Not sure I know myself anymore. Sometimes I'm not sure Dutch does. As we finished, a couple of Pinkerton agents appeared. Milton was one of them. I forget the other fella's name. They knew all about me. It's a new turn of events. Apparently there's 5,000 on my head alone. After Blackwater, or maybe before, it seems we may be in real trouble. I just don't know. Dutch don't seem too worried, but I'm beginning to have some doubts as to this wisdom in his indifference. Wolves and a tree in the bait. Oh, this is the second time I met the photographer. Saw Mr. Mason again. This time he was taking pictures of wolves. Still doing his hardest to get himself eaten. And then another wolf. And some sort of tiny bird and a pheasant. Another bird. Another bird. And a pig pen, maybe? And this is the view of Dutch's setup, I think. Maybe. Alright. More problems have befallen us. More running. Leviticus Cornwall, the oil, sugar, rail, and greed merchant whom we robbed a while back, had us ambushed in Valentine. Seems he has added to the price on our heads. We shot our way out of town and narrowly escaped with our lives. The only amusing aspect of the horror was Herr Strauss getting grazed and acting like he was preparing for his short trip down to hell. After this, we fled the country and headed even further south and east, camping by a lake. This is pretty much new country for me. Charles and I saved a family of Germans who were in the process of getting themselves killed. He's a better man than me. He does not need to think to be good. It comes naturally to him. Like, right is deep within, as opposed to this conflict between good and evil that rages within me. Well, that's kind of cool. Like, not only do you control the actions of whether he's a good person or a bad person, but even he acknowledges it. Little things, Rockstar. If only we had fled west out of Blackwater. We could be free now. Out where we belong beyond civilization with the savages and the animals. Here, You won't ever be at home. Oh, and then this is Sadie. Mrs. Adler, the widow we rescued a while back, might be the craziest one of all of us. She fights like a cornered polecat with a rage and a bloodlust that frightens the hell out of me. I ever get on her wrong side, and I am a dead man. I don't intend to. She's a fine woman, amusing and good-hearted and decent and angry. I took her shopping to stop her filleting old Pearson right in camp. After we got jumped, she went insane and showed she can kill with the best of us.
You know something, gentlemen? We're gonna be okay. We are gonna be fine. I mean, sure, I know things don't seem fine right now.
Alright, and then a shot of Rhodes. Good. So it turns out we're holed up outside a town called Rhodes, deep in old cotton country. The place was not recovered from the war, and those folks that is sober enough to think are still angry? Blech, blech. I struggled to read that. The place is not recovered from the war, and those folks that is sober enough to think are still angry. The drunk, which is most of them, are angrier still, but perhaps for other reasons. Adding to the absurdity, we appear to be planning to deputize ourselves into the local law enforcement. And that went well. And have already taken down a major bounty on their behalf, but mostly to rescue slippery old Trelawney, who had gotten himself arrested for some of his usual nonsense. Seems like there was a long-running blood feud between two old families here, and both Dutch and Hosea believe they may be sitting on a lot of gold. We shall see, I guess. And that was proven wrong. And this is the parlor house. Another horse. Met a fella named Miss Margaret, an animal trainer and showman, or showwoman, mistress of danger. Quite a character. Wants me to find some missing animals. Yeah, it was a donkey that was a zebra, a dog that was a tiger, a cougar that was a lion, and then an actual lion. Helped Mr. Mason take another picture, this time of wild horses, and he gave me a beautiful print of one of the wolves that nearly ate him. Huh. I don't know what that is. Probably the donkey, maybe. Oh, and this is the lion. A while ago, I met an odd man dressed as a lady animal trainer. Are all Englishmen that weird, I wonder? All his animals were as fake as the rest of his act, until I was to find and retrieve a real lion. From somewhere or other in Africa. Until I was to find and retrieve a real lion from somewhere or other in Africa. I thought it was going to be another dog, but no, it was a real lion. The thing looked like it wanted me for its next meal. After hunting a zebra that was a donkey, and a tiger that was a cougar, and another lion that was a dog, or I think that's right, I think I've lost track of the whole thing. And an assistant that's a real woman, and him a strange English maniac in a dress pretending to be all that he isn't. Remind yourself never to go on the stage. And those are the cages. The weird English guy gave me a pretty decent emerald as payment for my troubles. Maybe it wasn't so bad after all. And the deputy sheriff badge. That is so well drawn, Arthur. Holy shit. Little shadows. Deputy sheriff. Finally, we have achieved a state of true insanity. For the first time in my life, I'm a deputized lawman. We went off with some moronic dupe duty duty. Wow. We went off with some moronic dupe deputy working for the alcohol-drenched Sheriff Gray, pursuing some moonshiners. Dutch is convinced this will somehow lead to riches beyond compare. Seems the one powerful local family, the Grays, ex-Scots, is warring with another proud English family, the Braithwaites, like some long-running dispute from the border country. Some animal, and then hummingbird sage. Apparently there's gold or women or something at the root of this, and if it's gold, we want it. Either way, we are so deep in the swamp and so entirely lost ourselves, I hope it will take the Pinkertons and their like a long while to find us. We shall see. In the meantime, a new career path in law seems to await. Seems like amongst our other perils, a gang called the Lemoyne Raiders won't take too kindly to outsiders or anyone who ain't living in the distant past. A horse, a squirrel, a bobcat, I think, and a dog. Saw an old church. Found it interesting. Not sure why. And that's where we're at right now, right? Maybe? Braithwaite Manor. The path that leads straight to it. And moonshine. I've met some charming women in my time. Catherine Braithwaite, the mother hen to that particular bunch of roosters, ain't one of them. A sourer old jug of piss and bullshit I ain't never met. Even Hosea's charms were lost upon her. She refused our offer of selling her back or shine, and instead got us to give it away to annoy the saloon owners in town. Hosea put on quite a show until we got interrupted by the bastards we robbed when grabbing the stuff. We just about escaped. On the other hand, I met this poor bastard Grey boy, Beau, and his forbidden love, Miss Penelope, who's over there. Quite the most alive creature we have met down here. Suddenly, I'm marching off as a suffragette. Suffragette? I think that's right. I know it's suffrage. Suffragette. I don't know. The looks of loathing on the faces of the locals delighted me, while their leader, Mrs. Calhoun, amused me. I don't know much about good causes nor the joys of democracy, but I enjoyed my little experience riding alongside them. World is certainly changing fast. And then the drunk guy that was on the bench, and I think he was the slave driver, right? Stumbled into this old drunk in the streets of Rhodes. I don't know quite why he made an impression. The world is full of self-pitying drunks. Hell, I hope to grow into one myself, but something about this fella, Jeremiah Compson, blamed everyone else for his plight. Lost his career and his home. Wanted me to go find a few trinkets at his home. Compson's Stead, just north of Scarlet Meadows. Maybe I'll head over there sometime. Oh, and I think the sun is coming up again, so I can start reading from this again. Picked up some yarrow, another bird, a vulture, I think a fox, maybe another wolf. Maybe a crow, a wild carrot, a hen, a chicken, a squirrel. We went horse thieving, our greed getting the better of us. Believed a yarn spun us by one of that Gray family, the patriarch, Tavish, a particularly unpleasant one of what seems a reasonably unpleasant family. He had us believing that the Braithwaite woman owned some highly prized English thoroughbred, I think, or Arab. No, I was right, or Arab charges, or whatever they was supposed to be. and imagined we was going to be wonderfully rich. At the end of it, we felt like prize idiots. So I guess at least some prizes was being handed out. Went to his house. Don't feel so bad for him now. Feel like a fool. Bastard was a slave catcher. I don't know what he is crossing out. Looks like a B-A-T-H. Bath? I don't know. Went to see nice Mr. Compson again. Burned his valuable ledger right in front of him. Right in front of his eyes. Oh, and then the photographer. And this was on the boat, right? This time, Albert Mason seemed obsessed by getting eaten. Obsessed by getting eaten by alligators. Again, he managed to survive much more by luck than by judgment. Charles and I went looking for Trelawney, who was staying in Rhodes. He'd been accosted by some bounty hunters who was looking for him and a means to getting to us. Whole thing turned nasty, and he'd been treated pretty bad, but we got him. We got him out of there. He seemed worried that there might be more following in their wake, so came back to camp with us. Got an owl. There always seemed to be more bounty hunters, Pinkertons, lawmen. Everywhere. Everywhere we go, there's more and more civilization. Perhaps this is it from now on. We shall see, I guess. This whole place is beginning to give me the creeps. I want to get back in the open country of the west or what's left of it. But even that ain't the way I remember it. I've been recuperating after an interesting encounter with Colm O'Driscoll. Dutch got it into his mind to meet the bastard to somehow end all of this lunacy. Only Colm did not share Dutch's sense of honor amongst thieves. Whole thing was a setup to kidnap me, then lure all of the rest of us into a trap so we could get arrested and Colm could disappear away. Us somehow curing all of his sin. I don't know why I struggled with that. Whole thing was a setup to kidnap me, then lure all the rest of us into a trap so we could get arrested and Colm could disappear away, us somehow carrying all of his sin, along with our own, to the gallows. Seems like Colm is enjoying this modern world even less than we are. More by luck than judgment, I escaped and somehow got back here. More dead than alive, and collapsed into bed for a few feverish days after much nursing from Miss Grimshaw and Miss Tilly, and much guilt-ridden apologies from Dutch over his stupidity. I survived okay. My shoulder, where I was shot, ain't come down with gangrene. That's good, and I will live, if even uglier than before. Thing is, getting even more insane with the local population. My sense is neither the Greys nor the Braithwaites have a pot to piss in, but I ain't spent too much time with the landed gentry. Whatever else that they is, they don't make one believe in the nobility of the aristocracy. Getting one more photo. Saw Albert again. Bored of fighting animals, he tried to fight gravity. Again, he somehow survived. I hope he will now retire from a life even more idiotic and dangerous than mine. And then the shit in town with Sean. Sean has been killed. Rest in peace. I'm more sad than I can admit. I love that little loudmouth wretch more than I knew. He was like an annoying little brother to me. What fun we had riding together. And now he's dead. His head shot half off in an ambush. What a goddamn mess we were making of things. Still no Confederate gold, but a shitload of trouble. And then we came to this place, right? Home for now. We've moved again. More trouble with the Pinkertons. More trouble with them locals. More trouble all around. Little Jack's been kidnapped, so we're trying to find him. Apparently some fella in Saint Denis, Senor something or other, took umbrage to our presence and kidnapped him. Or, heaven forbid, worse. We burnt down the Braithwaite Manor when we went hunting for him in an almighty scrap. Then we got spoken to again by Agent Milton. This time he asked for Dutch's head on a platter. We got him to leave, but they ain't too pleased with us.
That's good.
The inside of a house. So we headed to Saint Denis to find Lil Jack. We was told he'd been kidnapped by some local gangster, this Halian feller called Bronte. Oh, that says Italian. The I and the T came together for me. This Italian feller, Jesus, called Bronte. A local tough guy. We ain't found him, but he's found us. Dutch and I headed into town, and I managed to get myself robbed by a bunch of children. This was a new low, even by my standards. Anyway, we found Mr. Bronte and are going to pay him a call. We better get the boy back soon. Not least because if we don't, Abigail will kill the lot of us. All this after we burned down the Braithwaite Manor house looking for him and made some real enemies out of ourselves back in that country. We're now hiding deep in the swamps, trying not to get eaten by wildlife or sink too deep in the mud. I cannot decide which I like less, the swamps or the city. Both are full of parasites, reptiles, and slime, but the swamps are prettier. Dutch is trying to think of where we can run next, but in the meantime, we are deep in the swamps, hiding in some disease-ridden old plantation house, mostly swallowed up by nature. I guess we will find Jack, get some money, then flee. But where? These bastards ain't giving up. We're a long way east of land. We know we're a long way east of land we know, and far from real open country. Who is this? Met a curious Frenchman in a bar. Bought him a drink and he gave me a picture. Oh, this guy, yeah. Said he was an artist, although I'm not sure I see what is so good about it. Really? I thought your drawings were kind of similar. Maybe that's why he doesn't see it so good, because he draws well himself. Met a monk. Helped him free a couple of poor bastards from the island someplace who were kept prisoner. The monk, what was his name? Brother something or other, was a good fellow. One of those innocent people who make you feel better about human beings and even about yourself a little. Must be odd to see all that goodness in the world. Peace always seemed dark and brutal to me. Oh, place always seemed. Or is that peace? I don't know. Place, excuse me. God damn it. Then this is the scientist. Met a weird fella. Wants 100 gallons of moonshine. For love? Never heard such nonsense in all my life, and I know some talkers of nonsense. Guess I'll go and ask that clerk, Alden, Trelawney's disappointed friend. Maybe he knows a way of finding it, and I think there's money in this. Met a crazy man in Saint Denis, a professor no less, Marco Dragic. I forget how to pronounce his name. I'm still amazed by what I experienced. He had me control a tiny boat remotely. How? I have no idea. I did not understand any of it. But even though he was annoying and a sharp mouth, he seemed obviously highly intelligent. Was I duped? I have no idea. Wouldn't be the first time I've fallen for the rantings of an intelligent man telling me how to think. And then a mouse. Oh, this must be when I killed all those mice or rats in the bar. Only he didn't tell me how to think. The whole thing was odd. Told me to come see him at his lab in Dover Hill. Maybe. And then a shot of Saint Denis, the train bridge, and the smokestacks. Looks like Javier and 2 other men. I can't quite tell. I always heard Saint Denis was one of the 7 wonders of the world. Really? If this is so, I don't care much to see the other 6. It's a depressing place that shows you the whole thing's worse than people is a whole lot of... What? It's a depressing place that shows you the only thing worse than people is a whole lot of people. I have not ever met a lizard in a suit before, only now I have, and his name is Angelo Bronte. He is either our salvation or our damnation. This city's strong man arrived from Italy a few years ago, and now knows and controls everything and everyone. He had not harmed Jack, other than feeding him strange food, and Dutch seems to think that maybe we can get something from this oily dictator. Personally, I don't trust him more than I'd trust any hungry animal not to try and eat me. But for now, we are somewhat safe and hidden. Whole place gives me the creeps. I saw a donkey. Mary wrote to me. Wants to see me again. Oh, Mary, what fools we are. What a fool I am. A pig, a deer.
So-so.
Met a pair of fellas from a chain gang. Black fella named White. White fella named Black. They wanted to kill each other. They begged me to clear off some wanted posters for them. Collected the posters. Old White and Black weren't so innocent as they seem. Took the shine to the fella in Saint Denis, a professor, no less. Andrew something or other. He's built an electric chair as a kind way of killing folk that need killing. Oh, and the irony of it, all even more ironic, me so tough and him so weak, and I never got paid. That's true. I paid for that goddamn, oh wait, did I get paid? I don't remember. Did I get paid in the end? I don't think I did. I know I paid for his patent, but I don't think I got paid after. Saw Mary and the awful daddy, and he is taken to drink, which unsurprisingly ain't improved him a whole lot. What a foul pig he is, taken to hawking off family heirlooms and cursing the world for it. Still stuck-up son of a bitch. Now Mr. Linton has passed away. I wonder what he wants for his daughter. Wait, Mr. Linton's dead? When did that happen? Now Mr. Linton has passed away, I wonder what he wants for his daughter. Funny thing is, I love her and yet am a bad lot. Wait, oh wait, Mary Linton, right? Mary Linton, that's who she was married to before? I don't know. Old daddy is a good, upright man, and yet he treats his daughter like a possession, to be mistreated and abused as he sees fit. Strange creatures, men. I don't know. All I know is that I love her, and she both loves and detests me. It never worked before, and it won't ever work now. Yet it gnaws at me. The idea of it gnaws at me like a sickness. I've got to give all that nonsense up. I'm an outlaw, a murderer, a man with a code different to ordinary folk, and Mary ain't never going to be for my world. Saw a pig. We went to a vaudeville show in town. Dancing from France, quite a business. What is wrong with me? Do I really think I can retire someplace nice and live a normal life with a wife? Am I a big enough dolt to believe this is possible? If I want to get paid for this nonsense, I got to find a bounty. The name of Wilson J. McDaniels? Wilson T. McDaniels? I don't know. So he can be humanely disposed of. Oh yeah, for that electric chair. At enormous cost to everybody, as opposed to shot in the head like I would do. Still ain't been paid for this. I went to an art gallery. Seems fine and fancy. Living ain't quite so different from life in the wilderness. Robbing stagecoaches. Was an exhibition of paintings by the artist I met a couple of times, Charles something or other, French fella. Seems he'd been doing more than painting his models. Yeah. Their husbands weren't so keen. Their husbands weren't so keen on the liberties he'd been taking with his subject matter. Whole thing descended into a brawl. Had to help him escape. Don't know who this is. Got into a fight with a drunk giant. Oh, now I know. Yeah, got into a fight with a drunk giant with a tiny head. Yes, that's what happened. Fellow was strangling a barkeep who had turned off his liquor supply. Part of some kind of circus act. The show was run by a woman, Marjorie, I think. She's missing a tiny magician. I suppose we all are. He's run away into the woods. Said if I saw him, I'd send him back to them. Picked up some golden current, I think. And then the robot. Went to see the professor at his lab. He had built a sort of mechanical sun. He seemed to think it was amazing.
Come on now, Pearson.
We could not get the thing to work properly. I was not half as impressed with him as he was with himself. Then the magician found the little magician and reunited this odd family. Fella tried to give me the slip a few times, but in the end, seems they love each other even more than they hate each other, or at least it was close. Want me to see their show sometime in Saint Denis, and say they'll reward me then as they were broke now. I don't know. Okay, so I just gotta go see their show at some point. Took McDaniels in and watched him fry. Weren't very nice, weren't very humane. The professor got upset and got involved before possibly killing himself with electricity, and I never got paid. Yeah, that's what I thought. If they catch me, I pray they hang me. That chair is the work of the devil. Found a heron. And then the artist dressed up. Found Charles, the artist, dressed as a streetwalker, trying to flee from assorted men he'd offended, fleeing to the south seas. Wonder if we'll see him there. And that's the end.
Morgan, you got any hair pomade?
I might, Bill, yeah.
Excuse me?
You know, hair pomade.
No.
Well, if you happen to find some.
Sure. I'll buy you some hair pomade.
Sweet. Got something for Bill. Nice. Hey, and it says that this is already available? Do I already have the hair pomade? Give request. Yeah, I thought so.
Hair pomade you wanted.
Well, look at that. Thanks, Morgan. I owe you one.
I reckon we should both just forget this ever happened.
Ooh, errand boy. Nice. What's that about? Ah, I delivered 5 camp requested items. It looks like I can talk to someone else over here.
You want to talk?
Sure. We haven't talked in a while, I don't think. Mary Beth?
You okay, Arthur?
Sure.
You don't look okay.
I'm fine.
What you been doing?
Acting like a fool.
How so?
Killing and robbing folks I didn't need to.
My, you have been busy.
Well, that's one way of looking at it.
You're a good man, Arthur. Underneath, I mean.
I've lost my mind, Mary Beth. It's finally happened. I don't feel in control.
Just stay calm and do what you do best.
It seems I'm best at mayhem. Sure, I'm no better than Micah.
Yes, you are. Just do what you gotta do and stop getting into trouble.
We'll see.
For your help with Miss Jackson.
Don't mention him, Miss Grimshaw.
You're a fine man, Mr. Morgan. Sometimes, at least.
Thank you. I think.
Well, after taking up a lot of time on my own, 2 hours and 30 minutes basically, a lot of it was spent reading. I do not care, because I spent like 40-ish minutes doing actual missions and then spent a whole bunch of time actually like getting background and everything going. So I do not mind doing that, in all honesty. And I feel as if, like, from now, whenever there's a new journal entry, I'm going to read it as soon as I see something's popped up. So for now, I'm just going to leave this episode here and simply say, if you liked any part of this video, don't forget to smack that like button like you smack a bitch.